home league, even though it's not a dome. So we got a couple of games for you guys tonight, so we hope you're going to enjoy it, and it should be hopefully a lot of fun. So I'm glad to see people starting to tune in and check it out a little bit. And for those of you who are new to 16-inch softball, we'll run through the rules here as we're kind of waiting for the start of the ball game. And it is 16-inch softball. You are seeing it correct. There are no gloves being worn. So it's a little different, I'm sure, for some of you. You're going to, see it and wonder what the heck is going on. We use a 16-inch clincher. It is not a mush ball. So it'll hurt if you don't know what you're doing a little bit. So we changed the scoreboard from the last time we were out here. It's a little bigger, not as fancy as the other one, but it should hopefully get the job done. So Bullies are the home team. Playmakers are going to be hitting first, and then in honor of the all-day rain we've been getting out here, I guess you could call it a steady drizzle, we'll be doing the steady drizzle Los Barachos game at 11 after this. So again, 16-inch style softball, Chicago style, no gloves, 60-foot bases. This league is a little different. You can lead off, but also they have a rule in this league, which we don't use during the summers, which is you can steal. In other words, if a pitcher plays on you and the next base is open, you can take off and go to that base. So pickoffs are really at your own peril out here in this particular league. So leading off for the Playmakers, it's going to be Anthony. So 60-foot bases, you can lead off, and you can steal. Pitching rubber, 38 to the point of home plate, 38 feet. 6-12 on the arc. The pitcher gets 2 fakes or hesitations. Third arm action must be to deliver the ball home. And a fake or hesitation toward the base counts as one of those fakes or hesitations. This is a dome, ground ball, pitch and catch there as they pick the ball up and they make the play. So Edwin, playing short center today, also runs the team. We've seen Edwin play a lot of second base, but today he's there. So we do have a roof because, again, it is an indoor facility. It wasn't exactly designed to play 16-inch softball. So any ball that hits the roof, fair territory, on the, and there's a little spinner, and that's going to kick foul. On the infield in fair territory will go as a strike. Any ball that hits the roof in the outfield is going to be considered a live ball. That means all you can get. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on. And I'm not seeing any statistics, so I don't know who might be watching or not watching, but I should be able to see your comments tonight. So if anybody's out there, feel free. And there's a spinner. That's going to go foul. And so leading off there, I believe that was Anthony. And that's going to bring up, I believe, no, that's actually the second out. That brings up Marcus, the third baseman. So we are underway. And should be a couple of decent ball games tonight. Glad you checked in. And that ball. So if you're out there, put a comment in, because I do want to make sure the comments are working. And tell me if the sound's okay. And there's a swing and a long one toward left center. Center fielder won't get there. It's going to be a stand-up double. Throw got air-mailed over to shortstop, the cutoff man, but it was in line at third. So a 2-out stand-up double. And the Playmakers trying to put something on the board here. And here's Brad. So, like I said, this is a great facility. we just put a couple of real nice interviews in the can that we're going to be getting out for you guys next week. And I'm not quite sure why I'm not seeing any comments. And that pitch is strike.
I have a picture. It's not super gross, but if you wanted to see what we're
They go in and they kind of shave like some of the people and
And there's a swing and a ground ball. Great play by the pitcher as he semi-dove to his right, went down on the ground and secured the ground ball to make the play. So 2-out double gets stranded. No score as we head to the bottom of the first. So Bullies coming up. They've had good success. This is the I think I hurt myself. Thought that ball was going to get over Brad at first, but he's a big, tall man. Snagged it one-handed. So I'm going to have to readjust the scoreboard because it is showing me where I got the scoreboard right now. It's showing me how long we're on the broadcast time. And I will get the scoreboard up. I just got to go back in there, and first time I used this particular scoreboard. So there's the dreaded leadoff walk. So Christian starts the game off for the Bullies. And okay, so can't do nothing about it. So that's going to bring up JB, and he slaps a hit. And Christian easily gets into third base. Runners on the corner. Nobody out here. Of course, the Bullies had a real good first session. It was so popular out here that Steve Rodriguez decided to have a second session out here. And that's going to bring up Loco. So if you were following us during the first session out here, there's only 8 teams, so you do tend to see the teams a lot when we get out here. And there's a little flare, and there's a pop-up. Christian jockeying around trying to create some confusion. That's a nice job by the second baseman. He kept his eye on him and made sure that JB over here at first didn't try to sneak into second. And again, in that situation, guys, as long as the base runner is active, you cannot rely on an umpire giving you time until he actually raises his hands and gives it to you. So here's Spada. As the Bullies trying to get on the board first here. First of 2 tonight. And I tell you, this Facebook frustrates me because I'm not seeing the comments. I got 2 phones working here. And there's a little ground ball, and it squirts past the third baseman, 1-0 Bullies. So Bullies an early lead here. And Spada's hit, and it brings up Corey. And he swings, and that's up in the rafters, and that's going to be a strike. So, and I believe they're playing 1-1 out here, just to speed the games along. games are on the hour, they try to move it because these games are late. And there's a little flare to right field, easily handled, and JB will tag and go over to third base. So runners on the corner once again, only this time with 2 outs. And the Bullies have kind of shown us that they can put some runs on the board. It's going to bring Izzy up. Takes that pitch a little deep. The home plate umpire looks familiar. It's Marco Macias. Pretty good short center. Trying to get into umping a little bit. And there's a slash, but nice job by the left fielder. Stayed right with it, made the catch. But in the inning, the Bullies do push a run across. And as we head to the second inning, 1-0 Bullies. So the Playmakers, you would consider them a B-level team. And I don't know where Bullies is going to end up, but since the Class A no-glove national championship tournament we run, named after Tomek Zarnik, and sponsored by Ray Zarnik, since we moved that tournament, we're going to have more data points to be able to make sure and ensure that we have true A teams. Of course, B teams, you are allowed to play in that. So top of the second, 1-0 Bullies. And it brings up, looks like Charlie, the second baseman. Will be followed by Pete and then Steve. Again, we're a little looser on the names in these winter leagues. And just a damp, I wouldn't call it cold today, but a damp day here in the Chicagoland area. Again, we are at Intentional Sports. And there's a swing, and he drives it, and that's going to sit in front of the left fielder. Leadoff base hit for the Bullies. And the Bullies put a lot of pressure on you because they do tend to get a lot of guys on base. And then what they also tend to do very well is they're very aggressive on the bases. So when you play them, you got to kind of have your head on a swivel, and you got to be aware of that. So Playmakers trying to find their first run of the ball game. They did have a 2-out double in the first, but couldn't do nothing with it. And earlier today, like I was saying, we got out here and did a couple of interesting interviews, which we're going to do a little editing on, and we'll get them out. And there's a ground ball to the shortstop, little fumble, long throw, not in time. So Christian went a couple of steps hard to his right hand, couldn't catch it clean, and that allowed Pete, who's the center fielder, to easily get to first on that. Brings up Steve. So a little something brewing here for the Playmakers. First and second, nobody out. So this is a beautiful facility here. We also showed you earlier in the winter season some 14-inch co-ed. So when we do the steady drizzle game, I think you guys will probably recognize a few of the players that were playing in the co-ed mush. So golden opportunity here for Playmakers to try to generate a crooked number maybe. Little ground ball. Second baseman will take the easy out. Both runners do advance. And you know, early in the ball game, the approach was good. He was trying to get a hit to the right side. He just hit it right at the second baseman. And that's what we call a productive out, because he did move the two base runners. So if you're out there, I know a lot of kids put a lot of pressure on themselves. You know, they wanna swing, they want to get hits. but sometimes the way you make it out is important. So that's going to bring up the catcher, Dan. Jeff Salmon, the pitcher, and also the manager of the team on deck. And he swings and he drives it toward the gap, and that's down. That's going to score a pair. And now they throw it to second. Caught a break there. Christian didn't make the fake to the plate. I think they would have easily been able to get Dan at second. Then he threw a fastball over to the short center, who just couldn't handle it. But 2-run score on the double in the gap. And Playmakers on the board. Top of the second now, as we have our first lead change in the ball game. And there's a ground ball. I think people are looking at me like why I didn't stop it, but I got 2 cameras on a monopod. I did get drilled the last time we were out here on a foul ball. Everything went flying. It was brutal, but we survived it. There's a little delay as the ball came in. Way down there, they got another 16-inch game going on as well. So Jeff Salmon now 1 out, second base, I should say, in a 2-1 ball game. And Jeff flares it the other way, and they're going to get the runner. And kids, that's a cardinal sin of base running. When you're on second and you're not being forced, in other words, first base is open, when the ball is hit to your right in front of you on your path to third, you don't go there. It creates that little short, easy flip for an out. When the ball's hit to your left, then it's okay to go. So 2 outs now, runner on first, and it brings up the right fielder, Aaron. So we'll see if that potentially comes back to haunt the Playmakers in case this ends up being a 1-run game. There's a ball off the pitcher and safe at first. And that's a perfect example. If he didn't go there, the runner might have scored from second with 2 outs. So the base running mistake just does cost them a run, and they're back to the top of their lineup here. Still a 2-1 ball game, but now we got runners at first and second with 2 outs. And that pitch is taken for a ball. And there's a swing and a hot shot. Christian knocks it down. And that was a little bit of a mistake there by the third baseman. He had a fielder's choice opportunity. Didn't quite get to the bag to be able to just catch the ball like a first baseman. Instead, he was off the bag and tried to reach to tag the runner, and the ball hit the runner's leg and popped out of his hands. Now the bases are loaded for the short center, Kevin. And now a ball in the gap might score 3 for the Playmakers. So we hope you got a chance to check out that national championship game. There's a ground ball to second. Hits the runner. So that'll be out number 3. If you're scorekeeping at home, the hitter does get credit for a base hit there. So a little base running gaff there, 2 in the inning, cost the Playmakers at least 1 run. No guarantee the second baseman would have necessarily been able to make the play there, but it's a moot point because we're going to head to the bottom of the second, 2-1. Playmakers leading Bullies. Okay, so Abel is leading off here. And we'll have Church and then AJ. As Bullies find themselves here in the bottom of the second, trailing for the first time today. Again, we are live from Intentional Sports, 1851 North Laramie. And the live stream, of course, powered by our good friends at Gold Rush Gaming. And there's a swing and a little chopper, little bobble, throw across in time. So I'm going to have to check out. I'm not seeing any comments, and I don't know if anybody's posted. Again, I'm running 2 cameras and through a couple of different softwares. I was able to see them last week. So if I don't respond to you, I'm not ignoring you. So leadoff man down, it brings up Church. And there's a ground ball, little bobble, and he'll be safe. So the short center had a little trouble with it. Kevin couldn't quite find the ears on it. And a 1-out base runner brings up AJ. And he swings and he tries to go big, but the left fielder backtracks, makes the catch for out number 1. Haven't really seen AJ try to beat anybody over the top. But the left fielder was actually playing him kind of deep. AJ not the biggest kid on the planet. That brings up the catcher, Jesse. And there's a swing and a humpback, and Kevin makes up for the little bobble with a highlight reel run and jumping catch on the line drive. So Jesse hit it good, but Kevin just a little better. So we head to the top of the third, still 2-1, Playmakers. So we hope wherever you're at tonight that you're staying dry and that the weather isn't getting you down too much. So it's going to be Charlie, Pete, and Steve. No, I take it back. Marcus, Brad, and Charlie. Here in the top of the third. Again, these games go quick, 1-1 count. And there's a fly ball, and that's going to be up in the rafters, foul ball, and it's behind the soccer net. Somebody who's skinnier than me is going to have to go back there and get it. And my guy Spade up to the challenge as he works his way back onto the field. Yeah, this is really nice. They don't have any real sideline area for fans, but you can see those windows over there. And if you wanted to go and sit up there and watch whatever's going on here, it's actually a pretty nice view. I did take a couple of pictures, and when we show you the interviews, we're going to include that as a part of the video so you guys can see. They also got a nice basketball court, same setup, not a lot of area. And there's a swing, and he drives it, but right at the right fielder, and that'll be an out. So one out here brings up the big first baseman, Brad. So I think I know what the issue is with the captions, but I have to go, I believe, between games. I got to dig into the settings and change that a little bit. But that's why we do the games. So by the time we get to the season, we'll have all of this stuff smoothed out. Brad takes that pitch outside. Also like to welcome aboard a new sponsor, Sweet Buzz. That's Nick Drabel from Moneyline. His family's involved with that endeavor. So we thank them for coming on board with their potential sponsorship. Anybody who's out there, I can't see your comments, but if you want to get involved with the SSA, drop me an email at info, I-N-F-O, at SSAsoftball.com, and I will get back to you. So Brad draws a walk. As that ball hits the plate, it's going to bring up Charlie. So they'll get a courtesy runner here for Brad. Talking with Jeff Salmon before the game, he was kind of telling me, you know, I'm missing a couple of guys. And I had to tell him if I waited for every team to be fully staffed, I would never live stream. Just happens these days, especially these late games, especially on a Friday. And there's a swing and a little fly ball. AJ puts it away in center, and that'll be out number 2. Actually, I think that's out number 1. Brings up Pete, the center fielder. But so far, I don't want to put the Malouk on them, but Playmakers have had plenty of base runners in this ball game. They have pushed a couple across. A couple of base running mistakes may have cost them at least one run, maybe more. There's a little short fly ball, and that hits the roof, and that'll be a strike. Nice job there by the bully pitcher. Stayed right with it. Caught it off the roof, but that's a dead ball strike when it happens. And this is a little tough. I mean, for those of you who are longtime followers and used to see us up in the Rosemont Dome, they had a roof up there, and up there everything, infield, outfield, was in play, but that was a dome, and the roof is a little different. It's smooth. They got big steel girders up there. And there's a little ground ball coming in as Christian. High throw. Called him safe off the bag. No argument from Spada. And realistically, kids, you shouldn't be arguing anyway. It's not good. For those of you who participate in our events, everybody that participates this year, we're going to be handing out some stuff to you. Every team, we're having our rule book printed up first time. Pretty happy about that. So every team, when you participate in our event, you're going to get a copy of the rule book so you can have it with you. Of course, it's always been free online. And there's a swing and a long fly ball, and that hit the roof, and they called it a foul ball. So we'll reset here. So you're going to get a copy of the rule book, courtesy of the SSA. And so we'll be distributing those out. And don't worry, you guys in Iowa, we're going to keep a few copies of that out too. So when you guys come in for one of our events, we will be giving you a copy of the rule book as well. And you're also going to get a copy of what the umpires talked to the managers about at the pregame rules meeting. We want to drive a few things home, and we're working on a points of emphasis document that we're going to be distributing. And there's a swing and a hard ground ball, nicely done by the second baseman. Spada stays on the bag, and Playmakers can't push anything across as we head to the bottom of the third. So the ball was hit well. Was trying to pooch it past the second baseman, but he was up to the challenge, and he made the play. So Steve grounds out to end the inning, no runs. We head to the top of the third in a 2-1, or bottom of the third in a 2-1 ball game. So the low scoring's helping me out because I don't have to constantly punch the scoreboard button. The game is flying by here a little bit. As right now we're, I don't know, maybe 18, 20 minutes in only. And that's going to bring up Edwin. It's interesting because we've been doing quite a few of these teams during these 2 winter sessions, and now when I give them the lineup card, they get right on it and they give it back to me. So repetition is a good thing, I guess. And I really like the league and the concept that Steve Rodriguez has put together here. These are all basically B and A teams. A little ground ball to third. The lefty picks it up and throws a strike for out number 1. Hard to be a lefty on the infield. And I like what he did there. He didn't try to throw across his body. He took a little crow hop and got into position to be able to accurately throw the ball. So here's the top of the lineup with Christian. So we're going to shut off, start a new stream. I'll see if I can't get into the settings and figure out what's going on. May have to wait for another day, and you know I love the interaction with my audience and encourage it. And there's a little ground ball. Shortstop picks it up, long throw across in time. 2 up, 2 down here, and it'll bring up JB. So right now the Playmakers are kind of lulling the bullies to sleep here a little bit. And we see that quite a bit when it's a 1 or a 2-run game. Sometimes teams just kind of drift along, and then all of a sudden later in the ball game they have that sense of urgency. And JB slashes it. Looked like the shortstop was going to make the play. He was in good position on a hot one hopper to his right hand, but it just kind of squirted out of his hands for an infield hit. And it brings up Loco. So what Steve Rodriguez has done here is he's giving an opportunity for younger teams to get some repetitions, some swings in. And he's done a good job, and you see the big leadoff there. But a lot of the catchers don't want to throw down because a lot of the quicker guys will just turn and run to second. And Loco hammers it down the left field line. Kind of turned on that, got on top of the ball with the barrel, and just hit a crisp line drive about 12 feet high into left field. So first and second here with 2 outs, Bully's trying to manufacture something. And it brings up Spada. And I like this kid as a player. Good hands, good motor. And he's hitting the ball very well this winter. And he hammers it down the left field line, but left fielder is there and makes the catch. So a couple of stranded base runners here for Bullies, and we're going to head to the top of the fourth. Still 2-1. So we will be getting a point of emphasis document out. And, you know, last year we had some teams get a little loose, and we're going to be cracking down. We've already told our umpires that they got to be a little stricter. Some of the things that'll be on that list include staying in the dugouts. I know teams want to always complain about it, but you're going to have to stay in the dugout. Every field we play at, with the exception of Joliet, that has some narrow diamonds, dugouts, but they have plenty of room outside the dugout along either foul line. So it's not hard to be able to do that. We'll also be cracking down on players that leave their position if they don't like a call. There's going to be none of that this year. A little ground ball to second. Second baseman stays with it, and catcher Dan grounds out for out number one. It's going to bring up Jeff Salmon. So stay in your positions this year, guys. The manager, field captain can always approach the umpire in a civil way to ask questions or discuss a call. But we don't want guys rushing an umpire. And there's a couple other things, but those are the two main points that we want all of you to be aware of. And managers will be getting a copy of that card along with their rule book. So here's Jeff Salmon. Last time up, he went the other way. And Jeff tries to pitch in and help the SSA when he can. He had some stuff going on that are behind him now, so just a pleasant guy. So I got a chance to catch up with him before the game and always enjoy talking to him. Of course, the Playmakers, and Jeff draws a walk, so they'll get a courtesy runner for Jeff. Of course, the Playmakers play out of Oak Lawn, which is where Gio lives. And that's going to bring up the right fielder, Aaron. So the Playmakers have had a base runner in every inning, but they were only able to score in that second. And they did get two, but you would have thought they could have got a couple extra runs in that inning. And there's a swing and a line drive, base hit up the middle. So Playmakers here, after the leadoff man was out, they got a walk to Salmon, and now Aaron backs that up with a base hit. And now they got the top of their lineup and Anthony coming up, a chance to add to their lead here. So normally I always talk about, and there's a ball and it's in the rafters, and that'll be a strike. And even though the roof comes into play here, as a manager, I would like to have a team in here because a lot of these balls that hit the roof on the infield would be easy outs in the outfield, and it's a good visual for a hitter to kind of know that, you know, he kind of dipped or got below, and he comes right back with a Humpty to center, and Dan, not the fleetest of foot, will stop at third. And now all of a sudden, the bases are loaded with one outs for Kevin. And again, the Bullies, they're not going to give up. They got a decent offense. So if you're the Playmakers, you want to try to score as many runs as you can. If I had a handicap the game, I would have taken the Bullies. And there's a little flare down the line. Fair ball. 1 run is in, and Aaron's now he delays and goes, and he's out. He took the turn like he was going to score, almost completely stopped. Tried to turn it back on, and at that point it was too late. So that would be, if you're keeping score at home, the third kind of base running error here by the Playmakers, as their base running is kind of shooting them in the foot a little bit. So 2 outs now, first and second. As Kevin just kind of walked the dog down the right field line, everybody was kind of waiting a little bit to see if it was going to drop. And there's a ground ball knocked down by the third baseman, and he falls onto the bag for the fielder's choice to end the inning. So again, that's another base running mistake that cost the Bullies a run. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth now. 3-1, Playmakers. So that would be halfway through the game, 3-1. But the story of the game is some poor base running that has helped out this Bullies team. Still a lot of ball to be played here. So if you're the Bullies, you don't have to panic at all, but it is getting kind of late. So I believe it's going to be I want to say this is Corey, Izzy, and Abel. And there's a hard ground ball. Shortstop on one knee picks it up in time. And that's going to be out number 1 here. So leadoff man down. And the Bullies right now, a little flat tonight. We're actually used to seeing them with a little more energy. And there's a ground ball right to Kevin, slight bobble, but he recovers and makes the play. So Izzy grounds out for out number 2, and it brings Abel up. And again, these games turn on a dime. Sometimes all it takes is a hit or a double, and it wakes up your whole group. Now, if you're the Playmakers and you're playing a pretty good, team like the Bullies, what you want to do is just let him sleepwalk. And when I say that, I mean you don't want to kick the dog when he's sleeping. And there's a little ground ball to third. The lefty picks it up, throws it over for out number 3. So they go 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the fourth. And we're going to head now to the top of the fifth. Still 3-1. Again, we are live at Intentional Sports, the live stream powered by our good friends at Gold Rush Gaming. If you are going to put video slots in your establishment, go with the gold standard, go with Gold Rush. And if you're in Chicago, the rumor is they're going to start allowing that in 2025. So you want to reach out to Gold Rush, have them walk you through the options. You can sign contracts in anticipation of that. So give them a call at 630-307-0500 or email them at inquiries@goldrushgaming.com. Tell them you heard about it on the live stream. And please, if you're out there, folks, gamble responsibly. I know the NCAA tournament is around the corner, but please, whatever your choice is, far as gambling goes, please do it responsibly. So here we go, top of the fifth. There's a little ground ball up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. So Brad grounds the ball in the perfect spot. No, it's a little funny. Brad's kind of a bigger guy, and it looked like the second baseman was playing him way over toward the first baseman there, and he just couldn't get to it. So here's Charlie, yet another base runner for this Playmaker team. There's been no shortage of base runners, that's for sure tonight. They clean up their base running, they would be in great shape. Little ground ball to third, over to Edwin, and he turns the double play. Pitcher's best friend shows up. Nice start to that double play by the third baseman. That ball was hit pretty much toward the line, so he had to kind of catch and then make that throw to second, literally across his entire body. But he threw a strike, and very nice pivot there by Edwin to get the double play. So 2 outs here. And there's a swing and a base hit. So nicely done there. So with 2 outs, a base runner, second of the inning, double play erased one of them. And there's a swing and a ball hit to Christian. And now this is going to be the third or fourth base running mistake. Oh, he might have got back. He did. Nice effort there by the base runner to stay alive. Christian bobbled the ball. Nice effort there. But that was another base running mistake. And it brings up Dan. So Playmakers kind of living on the edge with their base running. I'm not sure that. And there's a line drive, and they're going to pick up their fourth run of the ball game. So despite the errors, they have put 4 up on the board. Brings up Jeff Salmon. 2 outs here. Got some quicker base runners now, so should Jeff find a little green in the outfield here, he's got a chance to score one. Anything toward a gap might get him a deuce here. Jeff takes that ball. He did walk his last time up. And on base is Aaron, who did get a crisp single his last time up. Again, we are in the top of the 5th. And there's a little flare shot. Christian makes the play. And that'll be out number 3. But in the inning, they push out just a hair farther as they score a single run. 4-1, heading bottom of 5. So this would be a good time for me to grab a quick swig of water. I'll be right back, folks. 4-1. Playmakers leading Bullies, bottom of the 5th. and the catcher tried to thread the needle. And I can tell you, where they got the openings, that's tough to climb through. So coming up, this might be a pinch hitter for, no, AJ's on deck. This might be Church. So 3-1 count. And again, if you're Jeff Salmon, you're nursing a 3-1 lead. You really don't want to hand out any free passes. And he takes a strike. I like the approach. He's going to make Jeff have to come back in there. And, you know, kids, don't get anxious when you're up 3-1. If it's not the pitch you're looking for, a little ground ball and pitch and catch, that'll be out number 1. So here comes AJ with Jesse on deck. So the bullies, you might have heard the coach tell him you're leaning back a little too much. And as a result of that, you're hitting on top of the ball. And the other thing that happens when you lean back, there's a little pop-up long run. Nice catch, and he tumbles. They called him out after he completed the tumble. The ball squirted out, but the umpire said he had it when he took it to the carpet and ruled that the ball came out after he hit the ground and tumbled. So, nice job, showing a little agility. We're going to start calling him the big cat. So here comes Jesse, and he's shaking his legs, man. That's a big dude, man, rolling around on the carpet. So, 2 outs here, and Bully's just kind of struggling. The other thing that happens when you lean back, you're either going to hit the top of the ball, and that's off of Salmon. It's just going to be close, safe. The other thing you tend to do is hit the ball straight up the elevator shaft with a fly ball. And so you don't really want to be in that position. It's okay to lean back if you're a cutter a little bit. But if you're trying to hit line drives, it's not a good approach. And, you know, when you get that low pitch, a lot of guys don't bend. You almost have to be like you're sitting in a stool. You got to bend and stay down through the swing. Otherwise, you end up beating that ball or turning your top hand over, and you're just going to beat it into the ground at a shortstop or second baseman, depending on if you're right or left-handed. And here's Edwin, and flies out, lost kind of track of the ball, didn't hit anything. So Edwin flies out to end the bottom of the 5th. We head to the 6th. It's still 4-1 score here. Low scoring affair at Intentional Sports at the Los Barachos 16-inch winter Dome League. So it's going to be 10-1-2, Aaron, Anthony, and Kevin. And I wouldn't be too comfortable with only a 3-run lead. Again, this is an all-turf field. You can see. And you can't see that little white logo in center. That's a Chicago Fire logo. As the Chicago Fire and Jason Hayward were involved, this is a privately run facility. It's not Park District or city. It's a private entity, and they do a tremendous job here. Jason Hayward still runs youth baseball clinics here. Of course, Jason was very involved with the community when he played for the Cubs. So here's Aaron. He's going to try to feed the top. And he hits a little roller to first. Spade will catch it and make the play. You can see Mike has played the position. He's very solid, even though Aaron was a lefty there and can fly. He knew he had time, and he made sure he secured the ball before he ran over to first. So it's going to be Anthony and Kevin now, 1-2, as they're still going to try to find a little offense. And there's a swing and a ball hit toward the gap, but getting there and making the play is the right fielder for the Bullies. Well, it says AJ on the sheet, but that looks like it might be, no, that's Izzy out there. They put two right fielders on their scorecard. So 2 up, 2 down, and here's Kevin. And he swings and he hits a ground ball. Christian, a little bobble. It looked like Edwin was in good position to make that play. But Christian, who does have a lot of range, and he's bobbled a couple of balls tonight. And I can tell you sometimes when you bobble one ball, you start thinking about it a little too much. Covered a lot of ground there, but was a hair out of control. And that brings up Marcus. And there's a big strike. And you can see the pitchers really went toward the third baseline hard there, and then he was trying to hustle to get back into his hole. As even though we got a left-handed hitter, they're playing him to hit the opposite way on the infield. And there he slaps it up the middle, and now Edwin has a little problem. They throw behind him, out at first. So the Playmakers base running woes continue. They strand yet another runner. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Still a 4-1 ball game. So this should be a little interesting right now because, you know, we talk about the psychological impact. When you're leading the whole game and the other team in the bottom of the 6th dumps a number on you and flips the script. And a lot of times some teams mentally can't recover in a short period of time, and they end up going out soft in the top of the 7th. And if you're the Bullies, you're at the perfect part of your lineup. You're right at the top with Christian, JB, and Loco. And again, they're at the top for a reason. And we'll see here. And Christian was going to try to slap that into right field. They are playing 3 infielders on this side of the bag. Takes that pitch in a little deep and a little outside, 2-2. Again, Christian's job is to get on base. They need 2 base runners to be dangerous, and he flips it to right. Easy play for Aaron. And sometimes that happens when you try to go to a spot on the field. And then the right fielder there was anticipating him maybe coming back there. A very easy play. So here comes JB now. And the Bullies, we've seen them a couple of times. And there's the lefty. And there's a little bobble. Safe. So Brad kind of got out there but couldn't make the play. And the door is cracked open just a little bit here for the Bullies, and it brings up Loco. And when we were doing the semis in the championship, Loco was pounding the ball to left field hard. Haven't seen him bring that swing out yet today. And Loco a little late telling his base runner he wasn't going to swing. Of course, you know that's one of my pet peeves. Here you can almost get away with it if you have a smart, fast base runner and he gets into no man's land and they snap a throw down, you could just go to second. And he sweeps a single into center, and that's a base hit. Running to third, now they're going to throw behind, out at second. So Loco, he got fooled there a little bit. They thought he was going to throw the ball to third, and as a base runner, you got to watch that shortstop and understand the trajectory of the throw. It was an easy catch, backhand flip for the out at second. So that's the first base running mistake by the Bullies. Brings up Spada, so now there's 2 outs and a runner on third. And Spada hammers a ball into left field, and that's going to score the second run for the Bullies. As they pull a little bit closer at 4-2 here. So still 2 outs. It brings up Corey. And now they're going to run. Christian's going to come in and run for Spada. Again, in tournament softball, you don't get the courtesy runner who's usually the last batted out. What you get is you have to actually make the move and put in a substitute. And there's a high fly ball, and that's going to be a break temporarily for the Bullies, as that'll go as a strike. Had it not hit the roof, that would have been a can of corn. Bullies today look like they're trying to be a little too fine with the bat instead of just gripping and ripping a little bit more. Takes that pitch very deep. So Corey here trying to extend the inning. And he swings and he rips it. Shortstop got 2 hands, play at third. Ball skips away, and that's going to allow Corey to go into second. So the tying run now at second base with 2 outs. And it brings up Izzy. So again, with a 2-run lead there, it's always going to be bang-bang with a fast runner and 2 outs. Trying to go first to third, you're better off throwing that ball to second and keeping that tying run at first. Because now a base hit or a potential error is going to tie the score up, and you want to make a team have to get 1 more hit to do that. And Izzy flies out to end the inning. So Playmakers do give up a run. They wiggle off of what could have been a much bigger inning. And we're going to head now to the top of the 7th in a 4-2 ball game. So the game on the other diamond has concluded, and that's why usually when we do games in these domes, we don't know the timing, and so I usually end up just staying on the same diamond to make it a little easier. And that's why you'll be seeing Los Barachos against Steady Drizzle. So it's going to be Brad, Charlie, and Pete. I think if you're the Playmakers here, you got to scratch out an insurance run or 2, because this game has been low scoring. And there's a little ground ball, and that's going to sneak through. The second time Brad's found the hole. and was able to ground a single through the infield. Kevin is going to come and run for him. Brings up Charlie now, so leadoff man on here in the top of the 7th. And there's a little flare, and it did hit the rafters, and they call it a strike. And takes that pitch a little deep. And there's a line drive right at Christian, throw across. Spada he might be a soccer player. Knew he wasn't going to catch it, just put his foot out and kind of nudged it over to the second baseman. I don't know if he planned on doing it, but it sure looked nice. And there's a swing and a ground ball. Christian to Edwin to throw, not in time. But they do get the fielder's choice there. And so that was the third out. So everybody kind of lost track there, as Edwin kind of fooled us trying to get a double play when none was needed. So we're going to head to a do or die bottom of the 7th. And should be interesting to say the least. Excuse me. And coming up, it's going to be Abel, Church, and AJ. Again, they need one base runner to be dangerous here. So here we go. We'll see if we have a fantastic finish or not. Zabel's going to try to start this thing. And there's a little infield pop, and Brad comes in and makes his second running catch on a little short infield blooper. And I think he's looking over at his buddy, Jeff Salmon, and asking him where he was at. Another nice play there.
Should have been there for both. He should have been sitting over here.
And that's why he's at first, even though he was running hard to get there. He made the play. And there's a little ground ball. Second baseman, nicely done for out number 2. So the second baseman, ranging far to his right hand, Charlie, got there, leaped in the air, made the throw across his body right on the money. So now the game comes down to AJ trying to just get on to extend the game for Jesse and potentially Edwin. So the Bullies just kind of struggled all day up to this point with their offense. And AJ Swing, center fielder there, and the Playmakers hang on. They win 4-2 in what would be considered a little bit of an upset. So we hope you enjoyed this broadcast. We got more coming. We're going to click off and do a new stream. So on behalf of the SSA and Gold Rush Gaming, we hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you check in for the next